Imagine this. It's 2026. You wake up, grab your phone, and see something new on your banking app. Your savings just earned more interest overnight. Not because the bank changed rates, but because your money moved itself to a better account automatically. No paperwork. No switching banks. No calls. Your money is finally working for you, not the other way around. This isn't sci-fi. It's open banking, and it's about to transform how Canadians borrow, save, and invest. The same revolution that reshaped finance in the UK and Australia is finally coming here. But while most people have no idea it's happening, the ones who understand it early could gain the biggest advantage: higher returns, lower fees, and more control. So, in this video, I'm breaking down exactly what open banking is, how it will work in Canada, what it unlocks for you, and the risks you should actually be watching for. Section 1. What is open banking, really? Right now, every time you apply for a loan, a mortgage, or even try to use a budgeting app, your financial information is trapped inside one bank. You either have to export PDFs or worse, share your password with third-party apps that scrape your data. That's risky, outdated, and slow. Open banking flips that model. It creates a secure digital framework where you can authorize your bank to share specific data, like transactions, income, or balances, directly with approved financial companies through encrypted APIs. Think of it like connecting your Google account to other apps using Sign In with Google. You choose what access is granted, and you can revoke it anytime. Except now it's your financial data, and you're finally in charge. In the UK, open banking triggered a wave of innovation. Over 7 million Brits now use open banking-powered apps that automatically track spending, negotiate bills, or move savings to better rates. Imagine the same power here, but with the Canadian banking system's stability and data protection layers. So at its core, open banking is about data portability, the right to safely move your financial information wherever it benefits you most. It turns your bank account into a tool that serves your goals instead of locking you in. Section 2. How it's rolling out in Canada. For years, open banking in Canada was just talk. Reports, consultations, more reports. But in 2025, Ottawa confirmed Phase 1 launches in 2026, finally giving Canadians the same rights other countries already enjoy. Phase 1 will involve the Big Five banks, RBC, TD, Scotiabank, BMO, and CIBC, connecting to a standardized national framework. These banks will be required to securely share customer data through APIs with accredited third-party fintechs. Fintechs like Wealthsimple, EQ Bank, and Borrowell are already preparing. They'll need to meet strict government security and privacy standards before being approved to access data. The implementation will be gradual. First, basic account and transaction data. Later, credit data, investments, insurance, and even retirement accounts. Picture this. You log into your fintech app, and under Connect Accounts, you see your bank listed. You tap it, approve access for 90 days, and instantly your app can pull your transactions in real time. No more Excel exports or PDF statements. And you'll have a new consent dashboard where you can see which apps have access to your data and revoke permissions instantly. That's the foundation of trust this system is built on. Section 3. What this unlocks for you. This is where things get exciting, because open banking isn't just a technology update. It's a lifestyle upgrade. 1. Smarter savings and higher returns. Apps will be able to compare every savings or GIC rate in the country, then automatically move your cash to whichever institution offers the best yield, without you doing a thing. You'll finally stop leaving free interest on the table. 2. Personalized credit and faster loan approvals. Right now, lenders rely on outdated credit reports and pay stubs. With open banking, they'll see your verified income and spending data instantly. That means approvals in minutes, not weeks, and better rates for responsible borrowers. 3. Budgeting that actually works. Imagine a budgeting app that doesn't just show you where your money went. It predicts where it's going and makes micro adjustments automatically. It could top up your investment account when you underspend or tighten discretionary spending when it senses a dip in income. 4. Seamless investing. Robo-advisors will access your full financial picture, not just your investment portfolio. That means smarter asset allocation based on your real-life cash flow, debts, and goals. Your investments will finally sync with your day-to-day finances. 5. True competition between banks. For decades, switching banks has been a nightmare, mostly because of friction. With open banking, it'll take minutes. Your direct deposits, pre-authorized payments, and transfer history can follow you instantly. That forces banks to actually compete on rates, perks, and service quality. Now imagine this combined with AI tools. By 2027, you could have an app acting like your digital financial advisor, monitoring accounts across multiple banks, predicting when you'll pay higher fees, and automatically rebalancing everything for maximum efficiency. This is what happened in Australia. Within 2 years of adopting open banking, fintechs cut average consumer banking fees by nearly 20%. The same wave is coming to Canada. Section 4. The hidden risks. Of course, no revolution comes without risk. And understanding these risks early is key to using open banking safely. Privacy exposure. Yes, you control who accesses your data, but once it's shared, you're trusting that company's cybersecurity. If a connected app gets hacked, your data could still be exposed. Data overload. More apps, more insights, more alerts, it can get overwhelming. Some users in other countries reported analysis paralysis after connecting too many services. Overpersonalization. Banks and fintechs might start using your behavior to tailor offers, maybe in helpful ways, maybe not. For example, spending heavily on travel might trigger high-interest travel credit card offers, or worse, dynamic pricing. Accountability gaps. If something goes wrong, a breach or unauthorized transaction, who's liable? The bank? The fintech? The framework? Canada's model aims to make this clear, but we won't know how airtight it is until real cases emerge. So before you connect apps in 2026, read the consent agreements, understand what data you're giving up, and check if the provider is officially accredited. Section 5. How to prepare before 2026. Here's how to get ahead of 90% of Canadians who will be confused when open banking launches. Audit your financial landscape. List every account, credit card, investment, and subscription. Knowing your full picture will help you choose which data to share later. Experiment with current tools. Apps like Mint, Wealthica, and YNAB already offer partial aggregation using screen scraping. Try them now to understand how connected finance feels, but remember, the real version coming in 2026 will be far more secure. Review your cybersecurity habits. Enable two-factor authentication on all accounts. When open banking starts, security hygiene will be non-negotiable. Follow fintech developments. Watch which apps start labeling themselves open banking ready. Early adopters will shape the best user experiences. Educate yourself. When the rollout begins, media coverage will be heavy on buzzwords. The people who actually understand how data sharing works will be able to exploit opportunities, like introductory rate switching or fintech sign-up bonuses, before everyone else catches up. Think of this as a quiet wealth hack, knowing how to move before the crowd. Section 6. The bigger picture. At its heart, open banking is about financial freedom. It takes power from institutions and gives it to individuals. Imagine a Canada where your financial data works like your mobile number. You can take it anywhere, anytime, and the market has to compete for your business. This will also create ripple effects across the economy. Banks will invest in tech faster. Fintech startups will explode in growth. Jobs in data security, financial APIs, and digital compliance will multiply. But the biggest winners will be informed consumers, people who understand how to use these tools responsibly. By 2027 or 2028, your phone could hold a super app that manages all your finances, spending, investments, insurance, taxes, while AI constantly optimizes them in the background. It won't just track your net worth, it'll grow it. That's the quiet shift that few people see coming. So, as open banking finally arrives, you have two choices. Wait for it to change your finances, or prepare now and be ready to take full advantage from day one. Because the people who understand these systems first, they don't just save money. They build wealth by design. If you found this breakdown useful, the next video you'll want to watch is the 2026 Renewal Cliff, how rising payments could crush Canadian homeowners, and how to protect yourself. That's where this new financial ecosystem could make the difference between surviving and thriving.